Hey y'all, it's Michael, and today I'm here to do my fall reading wrap-up. So these are the books that I read in November. The main bulk of my reading time in November were with comic books, and that is the Walking Dead Compendiums 2 and 3. I already did a whole video and I do a whole spiel about it. I was thinking about like re-recording it because I was out of focus in some of the shots, but I mean, I liked it, so there's that. Yes, definitely check it out. Such a great series. Watch the video. So yes, let's talk about other books instead. The first book that I've listened to and finished was The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, which is J.K. Rowling, narrated by Robert Glenister. This is the second book in the Cormoran, I always pronounce this incorrectly, but the Cormoran Strike series. Yes, that. It's a detective, mystery, police kind of thing. I started to read this and I bought the book, but then I quit all of a sudden for some odd reason, so I just decided to pick it back up. So in this second book, basically an author goes missing, and Cormoran and Robin basically have to find out where he is. That's basically the gist. I thought it was okay because I'm starting to realize like J.K. Rowling really is like when she's writing is because I've only ever had experience from like her Harry Potter World series. She's really good at plot like and pacing. Except for Order of the Phoenix, but that was, I don't know what happened there. But she's really good at that. And here the mystery was not interesting at all to me. Like it wasn't as interesting as like the first one, probably because the first one dealt with a model and I was like, ooh, models. But this one I was like, I didn't think it was bad, but I didn't think it was also great. But I think the best moments of this book, also with the first one in the series too, is when Robin and Cormoran work together. Like when they are working together and like going undercover and stuff like that. That's like the best moments of the books, and this one didn't have a lot of that. So but I'm not gonna lie though, like in the halfway through the book something happened and I was like, oh, it's gonna get interesting. And you know, it did get a little bit more interesting. I will read the next one in the series, but this one just wasn't, it was like okay for me. Like it didn't do anything for me, so I gave it 3 out of 5. The next one, the next one, you guys, this book was so great. And that is Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, narrated by Adjoa Ando. Yes, Adjoa Ando. First off, this author, Ngozi Adichie, she is really hyped up, not only in booktube, but basically in like the literary circles everywhere. Y'all, let me just say, I'm so fast to this hype train and I am on board. I thought this book was fantastic. It is one of my favorites of the year. I loved it. Oh my gosh, I love this book so much. But the story here is we have 2 characters actually. Okay, I wrote this down with phonetics to make sure I pronounce it correctly, which is Efemelu and Obinze. Woo! Okay, that's correct because I listened to the audiobook and I was like, ooh, that's how you pronounce it. I kept saying it to make sure I knew how to pronounce it. But we have Efemelu and Obinze. They're actually childhood friends, but essentially Efemelu goes to the States first. They're actually like high school sweethearts too, but Efemelu and Obinze, we switch back and forth between their perspectives, and it actually goes back and forth between time too, and we see how their lives and how coming to the US and going back to Lagos, yes. Yeah, Lagos. Yes, I said that right, Lagos, yes. In Nigeria, how they're going back and forth. We actually see what the relationship is. The best thing about this was the character development. First off, I was rooting for these two. Like, I wanted them to get together so much. I love the way that she writes these characters. They felt like so real and I was rooting for them. I wanted them to be together so bad. Literally, just look up Americanah on YouTube, not even booktube, just on YouTube, and you can see a whole bunch of reviews on there. So I'm not gonna go into how amazing this book is, because there's a lot of amazing reviews. I literally binge watched reviews after I read this, because I was like, I just want someone to talk to me about this book. I have seen books where some people don't like it, but I mean, I like this. So I actually prefer watching videos of people not liking the book and seeing what they say about it, and I think that's more interesting than anything. But anyways, there is one thing that I want to talk to. I was gonna make a whole video on this, but I ran out of time, so I'm just gonna do it now. So if this video is long, I'm so sorry. One of the main themes that this book covers is about the American dream and immigration. In case you don't know, I wasn't actually born in the US. I actually came to the US from the Philippines at age 7, and let me tell you, it is completely different. The thing is, this is like really true too, because they talk about this in the book, but you have this conception of what America is. You have this idea of anything is possible in America, like that American dream. But I think when people come here, like that dream, I wouldn't say it's shattered, it's more askew. That dream, like the great thing about, in my opinion, oh god, this might get political, but the great thing about that America is that you really do have the freedom. With hard work and determination, you can accomplish amazing things. Like literally come from nothing and rise to the top. To me, that's the American dream, and for a lot of people it is that is it. But for some, that doesn't happen, and there are moments in here that I was like, oh my god, yes. Now, I can't talk about some of the topics that Adichie brings up in this because I can't relate. She talks a lot about hair, and I don't have a personal connection like that with hair because I just basically cut this thing off and just did. But I know how important it is, especially in the African American community, especially with African American women, how hair is really important. If you want to see a good documentary on hair, watch Good Hair with Chris Rock. Whew. That is a really good documentary, and I learned a lot from that documentary about hair in general. I also really love how Adichie, like with these characters, because they felt so real, that I never felt like they were dumbed down. I felt like these were real people in this situation trying to make it. And there were also like really funny parts in here. I was like, haha, like I laughed. And the great thing about this was like I actually convinced my coworker to read it because at work I listen to my audiobooks. I don't have headphones on, so I was listening to it at work, and she was like, oh, what are you listening to? And I was like, oh yeah, I feel like you should read this. And last time I think she said she just started on it. Yeah, you guys, the hype for this was real. Like I loved it. Oh my god, I loved it so much. Like 5 stars out of 5. Yes. Loved it. The next book that I listened to was Our Souls at Night by Kent Haruf, narrated by Mark Bramhall. This was actually published after his death, and I've never read by him, so it was really interesting. This book was real interesting, and it's actually pretty short too, so if you want a quick short read, this is one to go to. This book is about 2 elderly people, Addie and Lewis. They're not only elderly, but they are actually lonely, both of them. They're actually neighbors, and one night they basically get together and decide to sleep together. Like, not sleep, like have fun times, but literally just sleep. Like, I'm right here, you're right there type of thing. Like, they just decided to sleep because they wanted some company. And you know, 2 grown adults sleeping in the same bed, not doing anything, apparently riles up everybody else. The thing that really I enjoyed about this book was their conversations, because since they're older, they have more of a perspective on life. I always enjoy reading books where the characters are much older, like significantly much older than I am. I feel like they always have more wisdom than anything and more life experiences, that's for sure. And here they talk about basically their lives and about family and love, all of that, all the themes that I love. And I just really enjoyed it when they were talking about their life essentially. This is also one of the themes that it brings up is about finding love later on in your life, that it's okay, like it's okay to not be in a relationship right now, hashtag forever available, and it's okay, like it's literally okay. These people are old and they are okay. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. Alright, so as I'm editing this, actually, that's why I look different because I have my glasses on, I realized that I forgot to talk about a book, and that is The Road by Cormac McCarthy, narrated by Tom Sketchel. I hoping I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, I forgot to talk about it, and I don't know why, because it was a great book. I actually read the physical copy a while back, but then I stopped like at 60% or something like that, and I don't know why, but it was a great novel anyways. And long story short, I enjoyed it. It was post-apocalyptic. It basically, nothing happened. Like, there's no answers. Like, it's just basically a son and a father, and they're just basically trying to survive, and he makes decisions. I liked it, so I gave it 4 stars out of 5, and I don't know why I forgot to talk about it. I guess I was skipping through this so fast, and probably I was so excited about Americanah, but yes, back to the normal video. Okay, you guys, so I don't know what happened. I must have skipped a section when I was looking at my notes, but I also read I'll Meet You There by Heather Demetrio. I did a whole video about it, so I'll link it right here. Yeah, go check it out, and you can see my thoughts about it. It was for my book club. I thought it was so there is that. The next one that I read is In the Garden of Beasts, Love, Terror, in an American Family in Hitler's Berlin by Erik Larson, narrated by Stephen Hoy. In case you don't know, Erik Larson's other popular novel, The Devil in the White City, I read that last year, so I was like, oh, I'm in a non-fiction mood, let me read this. Mr. Larson, I noticed that with this book and his other book, there is one main thing that it seems like he always does. So this is a non-fiction account of the Dodd family. So this book is about this guy named William Dodd, who becomes an American ambassador in Germany as Hitler is about to gain his full power. And I thought that, like, that premise alone sounds really good. Dodd literally takes his whole family, his daughter Martha, his son, and his wife to Germany so he can be an ambassador for America in Germany. Bruh, so let me tell you, this book also focuses on Martha, his daughter. There's a contrast between Dodd and then his daughter. So Dodd, story-wise, we're following him as we see the political undertones as Hitler is about to gain full power and World War II is literally about to start. So we get to see like this lavish lifestyle and all of this tension, which is great because it creates this like narrative, even though it's non-fiction, it creates this narrative that is like really intriguing, and it's really tense. And then we have Martha here, who is, I really enjoyed her story because Martha is described, like as I saw her, as attractive woman who is like the life of the party. She goes to all of these parties and hangs out and goes partying, blah 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 blah. So we get to see like the lavish side of pre-Nazi Germany as she joins all of these like lavish events and whatnot. I thought that was interesting. But the main thing, what brings this book down, is while I am talking a lot about this family, there wasn't enough about them. And I felt like this is the same thing that Larson did in The Devil in the White City. For me, The Devil in the White City, I wanted more of Holmes because that serial killer portion of the novel, I was like, oh my god, this is so good! Like, holy crap, like he is literally luring these women in and murdering them. And then there was this really interesting history about the World's Fair, and I was like, okay, I mean that was interesting because I didn't know that much about the World's Fair. Here in the American school system, they don't teach you that, so that was interesting to learn. But here, I think the downside of this is while the Dobb family is the main focus, he also focuses on, like, as Hitler gains his power and like the Nazi power is like gaining full force, I was like, I already kind of know about this, and it just was not as interesting as the family. Like, I was like, I want to know about this family. Like, I kind of want more of the family. Like, first off, we didn't even get the brothers. Like, granted, I know he was younger, but I just wanted more. And then the mom, I just wanted more. I wanted more of the family. And granted, all the political stuff is really interesting, but I thought the family dynamics was really good, and I just wanted more of that. Yeah, and also, like, the thing with Martha is that there's this plot line, well, not plot line, but she had quite a, she was quite promiscuous, and she actually had an affair, and that portion alone was really interesting because she had an affair with a really powerful, important figure in the Nazi party. I was like, can we just have a plot, like, a book about that? Like, I thought that was so interesting. Larson, like, it just wasn't enough of that part that I just wanted. So I gave it 3 stars out of 5. I wanted more Dobb family. Alright, the last book that I read in November and finished was Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Dothie. Yeah, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And it's also narrated by her. This book was actually really great. I've heard a lot about it through various, not even just BookTube, but I heard it through like other like blogs and stuff like that. But this book is basically, I don't know if it's called, would it be a memoir? I think it's a memoir. This is about her personal account on how she joined a crematory and basically about the funeral industry in general. And it was great. Like, it was so interesting, first of all, and learning about like the death industry was really fascinating. And she does it in this like sarcastic and really funny tone that, and like, it's really lighthearted but at the same time really informative, because not only does she talk about her own experiences, she basically talks about also like death and how we as not only as Americans experience death, but like how other cultures view death in general. I thought it was great. I just learned, this is one of those books where I was like, oh my gosh, yes. As I was listening to it, I was like, oh wow, yeah, like it's great in that it's informative, it's entertaining. I think that's what makes a great nonfiction, is that it should be really, first off, it should be informative. That's why I'm reading a nonfiction, but it should also be entertaining. And this book does both of those 2 things that I love about nonfiction. So I would recommend it. It's not sad at all or like dowdy. Process about how you get in, how you become like a mortician. Oh my gosh, that was really interesting. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I really enjoyed it. So yes, those are the books that I read in November. This video will be long, I'm sorry. Other than that, yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Because when I came here to this country, it was almost like a culture shock, really, to be honest. Like the first time I drank milk, oh my god, I threw up, which was disgusting. I was like, I'm not used to drinking milk like that. That's why I have a bad connotation with honeycombs, because that was the first cereal that I've ever ate, and it was like a disgusting experience. Don't get me wrong, I love cereal to this day. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my favorite, but yeah, I still have a bad like connotation with honeycombs, and that's just